Into your fifth year as chairman, you must be delighted with how things have progressed, and with the announcement yesterday that we made over the microphone that was streamed live, and there'll be a press release later in the week, I believe, that's to give the details to the wider public. What we've announced yesterday, and for 2017 and beyond with the involvement of Coles, you must be delighted.
Well, yeah, obviously. I'm delighted for the players and everyone who's supported us through the past 4 or 5 years. It's been a well-documented struggle. We were up against it from the start, and people have come and gone, and we've had some highs and some lows. But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of hard work over the years, despite everything not being perfect. And thankfully, that hard work that we've all put in as a team, it's not just me. The hard work that we've all put in is beginning to pay rewards, and the Corals announcement is the start of a sort of second part of the journey, I guess.
And you're talking about that first part of that journey. As I say, it has been a tough few years to get here. How is it? What's driven you to get through that, Kev? When so many things, we both know, and the wider public generally knows, maybe not all the truths, but how is it? What's driven you to carry on going with it?
Well, when I first started, when I first thought of the idea, it was about making a difference, because I love this game as much as we all do, but saw no future in the way it was being run and managed. So I put my head above the parapet, and I was always in it for the long term. It was never going to be easy. I thought it'd be a little bit easier at the start, but pool politics and all that sort of stuff took a grip, and it took us a while to find our feet as well. I've never been a chairman before, so I had the ideas, but it wasn't easy. There was a lot of things stacked against us. Money, being primarily one of the main things. But what's driven me is about trying to make a difference, and that's all I've ever tried to do, really. And hopefully, yesterday was about making a difference.
Kev, with Limelight and with your position, inevitably, there's a lot of focus on you, and with that focus comes a lot of stick. And in that, Kev, I mean, I've seen you called things such as, and I don't like to mention his name, and he's probably going to shout at me for doing this, but I've seen you called like the new Harwood, for example. And whilst I don't want to go there, that kind of stuff must take an effect. It must hurt, Kev, it really must.
Well, the people who generally use the H word are probably people who probably don't really know me and what drives me. I think there's a big difference between strong leadership and dictatorship, and I like to think I've been a strong leader and not a dictator. I mean, everyone will have a view. That's just how it is. You're never going to please everyone, but people who know me well know the sort of person I am, and they're the people that matter.
Through the years, there's been a number of changes in the people that have put their head above the parapet to serve the IPA on the committees and various things, myself included. I took part with you for quite a while there. And
how did we let you go? How did you get away?
Like this. Kev, what are your thoughts on how committees change and your way of managing that?
I'm sure there's plenty of people have a different view to mine, but well,
they're probably all writing in there.
Yeah. I can feel some daggers. Look, I'm not perfect, but it's how I run it is how I run it. I try to run it as with a business focus. Some of the people that have worked on our committee, they've worked hard, and they've put the effort in, and sometimes you just don't gel with people, and it doesn't happen. It's just the way it goes, and a lot of people have come and gone. When we first started off, we were basically a group of players, and which wasn't the right combination that we needed. We didn't really have the right skill sets, and fair play to those players at the time. They put their hands up, but things evolve, things move on, and faces come and go. Some have stayed the course of time, and some haven't, and it's just the way it goes. We just move on to the next, to the next challenge, and try and appoint the right people to help move it forward. And I think the good thing now is that we've got a great team who are all working hard, all for the right cause. And what's happened with corals is down to that, really, to that teamwork.
I remember very clearly a meeting. I think it was probably 4 years back, 3-4 years ago. All of us sat in the room, and it was trying to educate the players about the importance of a move to the black ball rule set, Kev. How important for you was that? 'Cause it's all right educating the players, but from your point of view, how important was it?
That's for easy questions, Dan. Well, the first thing to say is that when we started off, it wasn't about the rules. It was about trying to give the sport a chance to breathe and to see where it would take us. And the rules, people saying, oh, rules this, rules that. We've adopted black ball rules, and that's our rules of choice. We like them. We think we can sell those rules to a new audience, and they are the official rule set in the structure that we're in under the World Pool Association. So for so many reasons we play black ball rules. I think it's been a big step forward for us on many levels. And it's just part of what we're doing. It's part of our product that we're trying to sell to a new audience over the next few years. And I think those rules give us the best opportunity to engage with a new audience.
When I first started to work with the IPA, it was clear at the time that there was a political landscape, that was a real issue, and it was something that you were not really a keen fan of, Kev. You tried to avoid all that interaction with politics, but over the years I think you've come to understand some of the importance of it. How has that affected your dealings within the IPA, and have you become, how have you dealt with it, should I say?
Well, what we've tried to do, and what we've tried to do for a long time, is to forget about politics and to concentrate on the product. Because at the end of the day, we are trying to sell a product to an audience and to sponsors. If you get involved with politics, if you get motivated by trying to get back at people or anything like that, you're on the wrong road. And all we've tried to do is to develop the product, because we're like anything else, like a tin of beans or selling a Mars bar. We have to create value for people to invest and buy that product. And investing in things like the stream that we do, and Sean with his PR work and everything else that goes into it. Quality for me always shines through, and that's what we've tried to do. So completely bypass politics.
Brilliant. So that's kicked into touch. Let's forget the past for the time being, Kevin. Let's move forward, shall we? I'd like to ask you a question. This table looks fantastic, doesn't it? They've really done a great job of doing that. And I know that you've always been a fan of kind of, build a single identity for our particular sport. On that, and looking forward, what are your thoughts on the blue cloth?
Well, personally, I'm a fan of the blue. I do personally like the blue Simonis cloth, but obviously it's not about what I like, it's about what's right for the product, as it were. So we'll continue to use the blue cloth, the blue Simonis cloth, for World Series events this year and next year, and we'll see what 2018 brings. Next year we'll still be sticking with the green. But yeah, big fan. I think it gives the sport its own identity, like you said, and gives us like a unique product. And
the players like it, Kev, don't they? When they've played on it, they've always reacted well. I mean, the great thing about the blue cloth is that there's still a good contrast with all the balls, isn't there? It doesn't change the effect on the eye of having to play on it. And that, as a player, as yourself, I know you're the chairman, but you are a pro player as well, Kev. That must, your appreciation of that kind of detail must count.
Well, one of the benefits of the blue Simonis cloth is that you can, as a player, you can play more shots on it. It's more grippy, and there's certain things that you can play in that you can't play on the standard green cloth. It runs truer as well, so you don't have finger marks. So from a playing perspective, it is a better product. But visually as well, I think it brings the image into the 21st century for me, and I think it looks really modern. So I think it's definitely on the radar. To what extent we use it, still to be decided, really.
Okay, thanks for that. Now, even with the involvement and the partnership that you've managed to, agree with Corals, I'm not trying to be negative, but there's surely going to be challenges. But are they different challenges? What do you foresee as the challenges that the future holds? It's not all roses,
No, certainly a lot more work. Well, the challenges are actually greater now than they have ever been. In the past, the challenge has always been financial, and they're quite basic issues. If you ain't got the money, you can't pay people. It's pretty simple. But now the financial issue has been taken away, and now it's about the journey to TV and mainstream TV, and what we need to do to make the product as good as it can be. There's a lot of people said, "Oh, pool can't be this and pool can't be that." Well, I don't agree with that opinion. I think we've got a great product. We've still got a long way to go to develop it, and I think people will be surprised when we do get to sort of mainstream TV what we're going to be producing, and then people can maybe form a different opinion. That's
interesting then that you mentioned TV, Kev, because looking short to medium term again, over the next 5 years, what do you hope to see that the future holds for the IPA with Black Ball? And if television's playing a part, can you give us anything extra on that? Any little hints?
Trying to squeeze information out of me.
There's no point bringing you in front of these people if you're not going to tell me out.
Well, television is definitely part of our plans. There's no doubt about that, and it's part of Coral's plans. Obviously, they want to maximise their investment, and TV is going to have to play a part in that. I think we've got a process and a journey to go before we get to anything like the major channels. But we've got some opportunities to do some things on some of the regional channels, and to test new things, try things out, and see what works, see what doesn't, before we are in a position and ready to go to bigger and better things. So it's going to be work in progress, that one, but it's coming, and that's it. That's what's happening.
Okay, so looking at how sponsorship and pool have always had a really awkward relationship, Kevin, building that sustainability, that desire for companies to pin their logo on the IPA or on any kind of pool.
Yep.
Why, in this instance, Kev, has Coral chosen to support the IPA and pool?
Well, I'd like to think, obviously I'm not their spokesperson, but I'd like to think that they've got belief in what we're doing, they like what we're doing, they like the product, and I keep talking about products, but that's what we are. And they see a lot of potential in us and the sport, and see a lot of growth potential in it. And obviously for them, they see a lot of betting potential and a lot of opportunities to make money, ultimately. So,
and as a blue chip company, that's what they've got to do, Kev.
Absolutely,
major player.
They've got shareholders to answer to, and they think they can make a lot of money out of this. And we share their vision. We've met them a few times now, and we share the same visions and aspirations for the future. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting with Corals.
Kev, social media has gone mad since the announcement of that. Do you? I know you've got a Facebook, as you would like to say. Sorry, it's going to get. Do you take note of the things that are said, Kevin, some of the truths and the half-truths? What do you watch that, and is there anything you can give us further on that kind of the social media reaction? Yeah,
obviously I keep my eyes to it all to see what people are saying. Yeah, there has been a lot of things put out there, some correct, some not correct. So, for example, I've seen some quote entry fees for next year, and it all has to be paid in one lump sum, and so what we'll be doing, we'll be getting all the details out there and the facts over the coming week, and then people can see actually what it's all about and what's going on. So yeah, there's a lot of figures being bandied around about Coral's investment. Obviously, I'm not going to comment on that at this point in time, but Sean will be preparing the press releases for the various aspects this week, and then people can see what is really going on. But yeah, a lot of the things that have been said are not far off. Let's put it that way.
Well, Kev, from myself and I hope from the general pool playing community, we're very grateful for the work that you've put in and the rest of the team, and I'm very, very happy for you and for the team for the way things are going, and long may it continue, mate.
Well, thank you very much, Dan, and glad to see you back on board for the rest of the year.
He's terrible, isn't he? Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the 10-15 minutes that we've managed to have for Kev and put a miserable face to the name. Thanks very much.